Hi, I'm Hannah. I manage our rental living team here. This is Tommy,
I'm one of the directors at Devil Smith.
and we're going to talk all things talent in rental living.
Right, let's get into it, Hannah. Why are people not moving in this market?
I think more than ever, culture
Yeah,
and career progression
yeah,
are really, really important. They're probably the two main things. If I think, like, we've just completed a search for an ops director,
yeah,
and we went out and headhunted 20 people.
Yeah.
When I think about kind of the questions that they were asking me, you know, the people that we're headhunting, it's all about what is the culture, you know, what's my career progression going to look like, what are the growth aspirations of the firm. It's much more about that than, you know, just what's the salary.
yeah.
Or
Which is refreshing because 90% of the time it usually is salary, right? So what is the
it's more
questions
like a
about?
long-term
Yeah.
view.
Yeah, what is the questions about culture then? Like, what's the things that you find that people don't like?
I'd say it's more sort of general questions, you know, like how do they treat their staff?
Yeah.
What's the level of flexibility like?
Yeah.
You know, are you trusted, basically?
Yeah,
What's the, you know, what kind of, what do they have in place to ensure that you are moving forward in your role rather
Yeah.
than just stagnating in the same role for like 5 years?
yeah.
Questions around that, basically.
Yeah, it's a new industry, relatively new industry compared to others. So it's interesting how I think it's changed. Like, as you know, agency is slightly different, and it's completely different from the living sector. But it's good to see that it's still evolving all the time, which I think is really, really exciting. If you was looking for a new role, don't look for a new role. What advice would you give?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say, particularly at the moment, there's so many people looking for roles,
Yeah,
and it's a quieter market in terms of hiring, so the competition is strong. If you're looking, so if you're just going out and clicking apply on LinkedIn, for example, you are entering a pile of probably 500 CVs,
Yeah.
and you're just going to be stuck there in the middle, and nobody will even notice that you're there. So you need to really tailor your approach. You need to, if you are applying for a role online, you need to then also be reaching out to either the recruiter or the company themselves, whoever's advertising it, and putting yourself out there and saying why you're right for the role and why they should consider you.
yeah,
Also, you need to register with the recruiter. And I know it sounds like I would say that,
yeah.
but you actually should do that, because then you can be kept in the loop of roles before they even come on the market.
That is incredibly
And I'm
true.
not just saying it.
Sounds like you are, but that's absolutely fine. Where's the locations that are really kind of booming at the moment in the living sector?
The regional cities, so Manchester, Leeds, Sheffield. We're seeing quite a bit in Leeds at the moment.
Yeah,
Newcastle more so.
Yeah.
I mean, London is still super busy. I'd say perhaps more so than locations as such,
Yeah.
but I'd say people are moving for developments that they feel are more exciting,
Yeah.
not necessarily based on the location, but like, I don't know, perhaps they employ use of a really exciting technology, or perhaps it's a bigger site
Yeah.
with more amenities, or, you know, something like that, rather than it being, oh, I'm just going to move location.
How cool are some of the sites that you get to go and see, though?
Amazing.
They are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best part of the job, right?
They are very, very cool.
Why
Way
wasn't this
too
around
cool.
when we was renting?
Yeah.
When you think of it, right? Like,
So true.
Like, imagine if you could live in one of these developments.
When I was
you-
renting, I probably wouldn't have been able to afford one of these.
That is very true. That is very true. Andrew Devil Smith, take note. So that's fine. If you was wanting to progress your career, what advice would you give to candidates?
I think spend some time thinking about it and be really clear about what you want in your career, like what's important to you. And when you're making your moves forward or getting promoted in your current role, think about that and just make sure you're set on it. I'd say also get a mentor.
Yeah,
I think that's so important.
that's brilliant
It's
advice.
something that I've just started looking into.
Yeah,
And I know how beneficial it is for some of my friends. So
Yeah.
I think find somebody in the industry that you aspire to be like. A lot of people will be mentors.
yeah. No, it's true. I've got a mentor myself who is absolutely brilliant. He's better than me at everything.
That's how it should be.
Including running, which is really annoying for me. So it's fine. The renters reform. If you found anything in your world in terms of the living piece, is anything come around in that? Is it affected anything at the moment? Or
I'm sure it probably has. I think, to be honest, what we've seen more kind of affect it is just the fact that much fewer people are buying.
Yeah.
So rentals are just becoming people's way of life now. So having high quality rentals like build to rent is so important. Yep. I know we were discussing the other day, but about so many private landlords are selling.
Yep.
So there needs to be more rental stock. There's such a shortage of it.
I do think this is the world that we're going into in terms of the institutional landlords. What we're finding is that agency, by accidental landlords, are kind of setting up now. So the institutional... I was
an accidental landlord and I sold last year.
Yeah.
Because it's no point in having it.
Yeah, so now it's going to be these big institutes, hedge funds buying this, all the stock up. If it's individual units, the single family market, which I think is actually a really important thing to touch on, because that's a market where there seems to be loads of investment going into as well. So
yeah, I read a stat. It was I think 50% of the transactions in Q1 of this year were within build to rent were single family.
Yeah, I believe that.
Which is amazing.
And 2% of the actual rentals, was that right?
What is it? 2% of all PRS stock in the UK is build to rent. So it's miniature. The amount, of market share that it has at the moment, and there's so much space for it.
This is on camera, and it's on a podcast. What's the date? 12th of June today?
Yeah.
12th of June? I reckon in 3 years' time, that would have trebled. You heard it there first, ladies and gentlemen. I imagine that's going to be the case. Anyway.
I imagine so too.
Brilliant. Thanks, Han.
Thank you.
Cheers.